What's happening, guys? So it's been a while since I've done an actual product review on my channel. I figured, hey, it's the summer months, it's going to be very rainy the next coming months. Let me go ahead and go back to my roots because I'll have more time to be able to experiment with some of these products that we end up seeing in our everyday lives here. And so I said, you know, why not? Let's go for it. And here we are. And today I want to kind of talk about Blackmagic's Intense Graphene Tire Shine, which the bottle claims insane shine and protection for weeks. Now, I gotta be honest, I was forced to buying this product. As you know me, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, I'm a mobile detailer in the South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, West Palm area, Boca Raton, all of that stuff. And so we're on the road, we're on the move, we're continually going here, and one day I forgot to refill the bottle of Tire Shine, and my technician loves to douse the applicator in tire dressing. And so what ends up happening is we run out of Tire Shine and we have another appointment to get to. So we go to the local Walmart. I'm looking at around all the shelves and I see all the products, but actually I see no tire dressings except voila. Now, I'm very familiar with Tire Wet, the original Blackmagic formula. I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with it. We all probably have very similar sentiment towards that product, the original formula, but this is a new one. The buzzword going around is graphene. Here we go. It's got graphene in it, so to say, and I'm gonna kind of show you how the product works, show you how I've been using it. The bottle's maybe about 30 to 40% gone, so I've used it on a few vehicles. I want to talk about my thoughts on it, and we're going to discuss the SDS sheets and all that stuff. And so guys, if you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and let me know. If you've used this product before, let me know in the comment section below, and let's go ahead and let's get right into it. So Blackmagic Intense Graphene Tire Shine, it's a very interesting name for it, actually. As a matter of fact, it claims to have graphene armor and nanotechnology, so very interesting. I'm surprised they didn't continue with the Tire Wet name. I'm pretty sure they wanted to kind of break away from that mold because they understood the image that they had. Now, the reason why most people go for a company like Blackmagic, the Tire Wet, or this or that, is because, you know, this bottle right here for 23 ounces is we're looking at about $10 a bottle, at $9.97 or $9.40, whatever it was, basically about $10 a bottle, maybe close to $11 after tax. And you don't see them really on much Instagram. You don't see them on Facebook or on YouTube a lot. They have those channels, but they don't focus on it as much as other companies such as Turtle Wax or McGuire's would, simply for the fact that they've already kind of cornered the market with their price point. The original Tire Wet was like even a bigger bottle for like $5, and so it leaves you to wonder, you know, why the product is so cheap. And even during a time like the pandemic, COVID, when the price of silicone has skyrocketed and shipping so expensive, how has a product like this been able to keep its price point so low? And I have looked into the SDS sheet, and really there's just a couple components inside of it. There's a ton of things inside of it, but really when it comes down to it, it is petroleum distillates, which is basically the solvent. It's what's the carrier of whatever raw ingredients are in here that they want to put onto the tire to give it the look that they want to give it. Petroleum distillates. And then there's petroleum naphthate, I think it is, something like that, which basically it's just another refined, it's basically just a refined petroleum, a refined crude oil, however you want to say it. When you look at it, and then there's like isobutane or polybutane, I think that's what it was. Basically, there's no graphene in the product. There might be a little bit, and so they sprinkled it in, or some of the raw ingredients that they use for graphene products are inside of it, but not to the amount where it's like, oh my gosh, there's a ton of graphene in here. Remember like 3-4 years ago, the whole ceramic thing that was going around with companies saying, oh, it only has 5% SiO2 or 10 or 15 or 2 or whatever it was. Like, you know, that was the big thing back in the day. Well, I think that's kind of a similar thing to this. There might be some graphene in it, but I don't know if there would be enough graphene, which is supposed to be like, what, 1,000 times stronger than steel. I don't think there's enough in it to really make the mention or make the difference. But nonetheless, these companies aren't trying to give us car care products. They're trying to market. They're marketing companies. So that's what it is. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a very complicated product. It's pretty similar. It's pretty straightforward. It's a petroleum, and you'll see once we get into it. But quite simply, Directions: shake bottle well, spray the product on a clean, dry tire sidewall, allow it to set for 2 to 3 minutes for high shine to become apparent, and then wipe off any overspray from the wheels as needed. So it's very straightforward. When it comes down to it, it's just a tire dressing. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and clean the wheel down, clean the tire down, and all that. If you're not interested in that, go ahead and fast forward to when we start spraying the tire and applying the product, and we can go from there. So per the instructions, you want to go ahead and make sure that the tire is dry. We've got like 80 to 90% dry. Honestly, most people are going to apply it at this point. I don't want to necessarily do a review of the perfect condition. I more want to do kind of a review of the practical, the most likely, the average everyday conditions. So tires clean, wheels clean, all that stuff, whatever. So I got my applicator. Yeah, I rinsed it out. It's probably got some water in it, but that shouldn't be a problem. If it is, then I don't know. I don't know what to say at that point. I usually like to kind of rinse out my applicators before applying tire dressing, just because it kind of helps make the application process smoother. Does it dilute it? I don't necessarily think so, because this petroleum isn't really water soluble, so it's just going to push the water away. So that's my thoughts on that. So I've used this product for quite a bit. Like I explained in the beginning of the video, I've done quite a few cars with this product here. See, it applies so much easier. I've done quite a few cars with it already, and one thing I have really noticed about it, one, it has that iconic tire wet cherry chemically smell. I mean, it smells like a car wash, you know, like it smells exactly like a car wash here. But as far as the shine goes on the initial application, it looks good. Like this is a pretty decent look. I've actually seen worse. I think that the original tire wet formula had as far as the initial look, it did not look this fresh. Can I say it like that? I don't know if fresh is the right word to use there. But it didn't look as uniform. Of course, maybe that's because, there's so many different factors that go into that. Nonetheless, the application itself is not bad. It actually applies pretty good. I like to apply it with an applicator because products like this, with all the petroleum inside of it, it gets on the rims, and even if you wipe off the excess, you wipe off the rim, wipe down the rim to get whatever you sprayed on there. The company Blackmagic, they recommend go ahead and spray it and wipe off the rim. I'm sorry, there's gonna be residue. That petroleum is gonna still be there. It's still gonna stick. It's still gonna be problematic as time goes on, and so I prefer to do it with an applicator, but even at that, that's a decent shine level for the applicator. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call here. That's a decent shine level for an applicator. Now, of course, what you can do is you can go ahead, let the tire dry, let all that stuff dry and whatnot, and then you can go ahead and do another application. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's been maybe about a minute and a half. I noticed it's kind of settling in a little bit, but I want to kind of make a point when it comes to these types of products. And with these petroleum products, you understand a lot of those tire gels. I know Blackmagic has their own tire gel. Meguiar's has the endurance gel. All these companies that have tire gels, The thing about them is if you look at them, they all, even after they're dried on, they look oily. So products like this are going to have an oily look to it. That's just what petroleum is. It's oil. It's going to have an oily look. It's going to have that, not just a wet look, but it's going to have that greasy look. And they say, and companies will say, yeah, once it cures, it has a non-greasy touch. I don't think Black Magic actually claims that, which I'm glad, because yes, this product is still gonna have that greasy, oily look to it. That's just the nature of the product. As time goes on, it's going to attract dust. It's going to do all those things that we don't like in tire dressings, but for $10 a bottle, it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna bring the camera in so you can kind of get a closer look here. Let's take you off the tripod here. Unscrew it, and then kind of show you how this all looks. So as far as initially, I mean, it does not look bad. It's weird, and the camera almost has like a, it's almost coming up brown. I'm looking at it in real life. There's no brown on it, but for some reason the camera is showing some type of brown. I probably need a different setting on the camera, but yeah, no, I cleaned it. That's so weird. No way. Well, that's interesting. Would you look at that? But it looks good. I don't know why it's doing it. That's weird. Do I have to adjust the setting? Maybe I gotta adjust the setting. That is wild. That is wild. Look at that. Well, Mr. Ladd's gone low budget once again. The Canon M3 isn't holding up here. I don't know if you guys know what the heck that is. Let me know, because that's a clean tire. But you can even see, like, it's dripping. It's dripping down. That's just the nature of this type of product. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to apply to the rest of the tires, let it sit for a while, take in, and I'm gonna kind of give my last final thoughts and reviews. And here is the finished product after sitting for a couple minutes. And I still think it's weird how the camera is picking it up brown almost. And I think that has to do with the actual material. That petroleum, that's a raw crude oil that has a brownish consistency. They obviously they do some type of, what do you call it, you know, some engineering and manufacturing and whatnot to make it so it's a clear consistency. But with products like this, you know, they're made from, that petroleum is made from a raw crude oil, and you know, this is going to the whole fracking thing. Like these are oil petroleum type products, so it's going to show up on the camera, I guess, in its original form, which is so funny because it's a clearish liquid, and the tire has been nice and clean. So, but as I'm looking, what I'm noticing, it's a good shine. Of course, I applied it with the dressing applicator. You know, I used the applicator, so I didn't spray it on. You can't spray this product on. I don't recommend it one bit. But yeah, so you know, with the applicator, it's been sitting for about 5 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a drive in a few minutes. Kind of drive around the block, drive around. I got a product delivery to make, and so when I'm back from my delivery, I will go ahead and kind of check out the tires, see how they held up with however many miles, and I'll let you guys know all that stuff, and we'll go on for the next bit of update. And here we go. It's been about a couple hours. Let's kind of try to zoom in over here. It's kind of weird dealing with this camera, but it's been a couple hours, and we see the quality and how everything looks. Now, that all being said, it looks pretty good. There are some things that concern me though, and as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna have some residue. Not residue, you're going to have stuff stick to the tires because of the nature of the product, but there's really not much sling. I'm pretty sure if I was going crazy high speeds, driving 100 miles an hour, you're gonna have those issues. So I definitely don't recommend this product for people who like to push their vehicles limits here. But you know, I just did a couple deliveries, drove maybe about 20, 25, 30 miles. Nothing too much, but enough for me to be able to kind of to see, at least on camera, how well this stuff holds up. And so my overall thoughts is that this product it is a step up from the original tire wet. As you can see, there's really not much of a depth to the tire. Yeah, there's definitely a shine. I think that brown film is kind of not showing up in the camera, probably because it's now fully cured, whatever that means, right? But it looks pretty good. But I'm going to kind of take in a little bit, and I'm going to kind of give my ending remarks. All right, guys, there you have it. That was the Black Magic Intense Graphene tire shine. I'm going to put this down here so I can kind of give my overall thoughts, comments, reviews, and all that stuff. So the first thing I want to make a mention in this outro portion, usually I go on for way too long talking about this stuff, and this will probably be another video along the lines of that. But I feel like this will add some really valuable information to the actual product itself. A few years ago, what happened is in the industry, and not just this industry, but worldwide in various different industries, silicone is a very, very prominent product. A lot of products have the raw ingredient silicone. So a few years ago, what happened is there was like a big strike in the silicone manufacturing, and what happened is the supply of silicone just diminished, and there wasn't much. I think we were down to like 30% of the silicone production, which is really, really bad. And then when the pandemic came around, the same thing happened on a much larger scale. So silicone is really, really hard to come across. And so what happened is, you've noticed a lot of these products, a lot of these tire dressings, that by and large, tire dressing has a good amount of silicone in it. That's what kind of adds to the depth of the tire. That's what really adds to a lot of that gloss, and sometimes even the longevity of it. Not always the longevity, but it really adds a lot to the depth and the gloss. And so you've seen most of these tire dressings, their prices have skyrocketed here. And so I'm looking at a product like Black Magic, where the products kind of have stayed the same price. They've gone up a little bit. Of course, packaging's increased in price and all of that. But when I've looked at the SDS sheet of this product, really, it's very petroleum-based. The petroleum distillates, which is the solvent basically that they use. It's like when you use those tire gels, you know, it's the petroleum. It's what gives it that oily, greasy look, right? The petroleum naphthate or whatever it is. I mean, these different things, they're all petroleums. They're all carrying agents. And yeah, it's a sprayable version of petroleum. It's not the thick, nasty petroleum, but on a very, very basic and fluid level, it is still the same thing, the raw crude oils. And that's why I noticed when using this product, I feel like it doesn't have that depth. It's better than the old formulation, the original Tire Wet. There's a little bit more depth to it than the Tire Wet. It looks a little bit better. It applies a little bit better than the original Tire Wet does. And so I don't know if that's because there's graphene in it. The SDS sheet said nothing about graphene. As a matter of fact, all it really talked about was petroleum and butane and stuff like that, and polybutane, butene, and you know, stuff that really doesn't, to the average person, we really don't understand what that is. Maybe there is graphene in it. Maybe there are some basic raw ingredients on a very small level of what being graphene. Maybe that is in here. Nonetheless, I think that when it comes to the term graphene, I think Black Magic, like every other company, has just kind of jumped onto the bandwagon of saying this has graphene in it, therefore it's longer lasting protection, when the average bozo knows nothing about graphene. Yes, it's 1,000 times stronger than steel, or 100, or whatever it is, but when it's all said and done, that really doesn't mean much, because I don't think there's really any graphene inside of the product. I think this is what we're seeing. I think we're seeing just another formulation of a once very, very subpar product that most people didn't like, and now it's just a different formulation of it, and they've enhanced a couple things, and they've been able to double the price for it, because no longer is it $5 a bottle, now we're at $10 a bottle. And so, does that matter? No, it doesn't matter if there's graphene in your tire dressing. It doesn't matter what's there. What matters is the results. And so what I'm seeing is decent gloss, decent shine. It didn't sling up off of the tire, which I was actually very, very shocked and surprised to see. Yes, it will attract dust. It will attract dirt. All those things that you'll see in a cheap tire dressing, you're still going to see, but now there's a few added benefits. And so when it's all said and done, am I going to continue to use this in my business? No, it is not something for my business. But with that being said, I don't know if I can fairly say that Black Magic made a trash product, because honestly, I don't think it's trash. I think actually it holds some weight. If you're the kind of person that likes those gels, you like the tire gels, and you like those very, very gloopy, gloppy products that you have to apply with an applicator that won't spray through a sprayer, you're gonna like this, because this is pretty much, when you think about it, just a sprayable version of that. And it holds up decently well. I don't know if it's going to last for weeks. I highly doubt that. If you make it through a rainstorm, great. most tire dressings kind of don't last a rainstorm, especially the water-based dressings, and that's what most high-end detailers are using anyway. So I don't think it's one of those things that you need to overthink. If I were to put a rating on it, it's an average product. It's a C, whatever. I mean, it gets the job done. It's going to enhance the tires. It's going to make them look better than they did when they were just washed, unless you like that factory OEM look. This is not that type of look. So guys, if you like this content, if you like the information that I have brought forth to you, go ahead and click the subscription button, click that notification bell, wax that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. Have a wonderful day.